Yo, can you hear me now? My bad. Yo, Johnny, John, Evan, what's up? Thank you guys for tuning in. Didn't realize that my mic was on mute. My bad. What's good? What's good? How's everybody doing? Anyway, what I was saying was starting from now, we're going to have a timer on all feedback streams. So there will only be happening for about 2 hours. And if you are not in the timer, like if when we cut off the timer and we reach our time limit, if your track's not in at that point, you will have to wait till the next one. Or if you're a subscriber, then timer doesn't matter. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up on that. But yeah, send your tracks in. We'll be taking a look at them shortly. If you're on Facebook, send it to my email. If you're on Twitch, send it to the Discord. Feedback request section of the Discord. Yo, Bainter, what's good, bro? Beard's looking right. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Trying to get the right beard going here, you know? Beard gang. But yeah, send your tracks to Brandon and Slothaholics if you're on Facebook. And if you're on Twitch, you know where to send it. And we're also going to only allow one track per person now. Just if if we have any downtime and there's no one, submitting tracks, then potentially we'll look at your track, but it's not a guarantee anymore. Eddie, what's good, bro? All right. We have 3 tracks so far. We'll wait for a couple more to come in and we'll start it up. And if you're on Facebook and you want to join us on Twitch, we're at twitch.tv/SlothMuzik. In case Facebook decides to take a shit and not work properly, which it definitely does from time to time. And yeah, you also get to be fully engulfed into the community here that we have going on in Twitch. So yeah, check us out there if you're interested. And tracks to Brandon. Check us out on Twitch. Twitch.tv/SlothMuzik. Cool. Yo, Parker, what's good, bro? Raphael, what's good, bro? Thank you guys for tuning into the stream. Appreciate you. How's it going? How's everybody doing during this time? I'm just waiting for some tracks to pile up. We got 3 so far. I'll start it here in about the next 2-3 minutes. Yo, Akash, what's good, bro? It's been a minute since I've spoken to you. How you doing? I hope everything's good in New York. All right, so we have a couple of tracks in. I guess we'll start it up here. Let me start my timer. What are we at? 6:25. So we got until about like 8 o'clock. 8:30. So yeah, SlothMuzik, Death Ride. Put them up here. Where's my display capture? There we go. Boom. Here we go. All right. This first one is from Xreal. It's called Death Ride. It's a year old, so kind of confused as to the feedback I'm going to give them, but whatever. Okay, your drums sound like there's like reverb on them, which you don't want it to sound like that. It sounds like you're either just like over limiting everything that's adding a lot of extra brightness, or you're just like pushing stuff too hard. And your arrangement's a little off here too, and your build up could definitely use some work. But seeing as this is a year old, that's all I got for you, to be honest. But do you have any questions? If not, I'm going to move on to the next track. I would assume your production has changed in a year from a year ago to now. So I assume that all of these points that I'm making, you have either improved on, or if you haven't, then you need to spend a little bit more time making music. But all right, let's move on to the next one. This is Cab Big Mouth -4.
Oh, sucker, you got a big mouth.
Cabs are here.
All right. So there sounds like there's like clicks in your sub and like your 808. There's some clicks. Yo, Peter, Jay, what's good? Thank you guys for tuning in. It sounds like you have like clicks in your sub at points. And your lead sounds just sound way too distant in the back of the mix, and you kind of lose in, you know, the energy from the track. And also the breakdown is like non-existent. That transition from the drop to the breakdown, it's kind of non-existent. So I definitely work on that as well. Let's see what else. Yeah, like your basses just sound super like either reverbed or just, I don't know, just super pushed far to the back, maybe EQing too much of it out. I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is, but definitely need to work there.
1, 2, 3.
3, 2, 1, go!
Other than that, it sounds pretty clean. I don't hear anything else that, you know, catches my attention at this exact moment. Oh yeah, and then also that brass is just way too much. I feel like you're just using it way too much. In my opinion, it's just personal preference, but yeah, that's just my thought on that. Peter, what's up, homie? Song seemed uncohesive. Pick 2 to 3 sounds and play off that. These sounds could be 3 or 4 different songs. Like I said, dope sound design. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't sound like everything is cohesive. But it could also just be mix wise. It's just not mixed properly. The leads are not, they don't have a lot of space in the mix to like not that they don't have a lot of space. they're not present in the mix to be considered leads. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Yo, Eric, what's good? Thank you for tuning in. But Cab, do you have any questions for me before I move on to the next track? Ashley, thank you for tuning in. What's up? How you doing? But all right, no questions, Cab. We'll move on to the next one. Thank you for sending that in. Chong, are you still in here? Yo, Christopher, please read the pinned comment before submitting a track. Is it bad to put basses in the drop wide? Not necessarily bad to put basses in the drop wide. It's just about having your basses more present in front of the mix, even if they're wide. They can be wide, but they need to be more present. They need to be leads. They need to be like, they need to be more powerful, or your sub needs to make up for it or something. You just need to have that balance, which you don't have. It feels like you have the balance and everything else except for those leads. Yo, E2s, what's good, bro? Thank you for tuning in. I guess that's why it kind of sounds distant, because I widened the bass synths. Well, you could have widened them too much to where it started causing phasing, and you're getting this phasing issue, which is causing it to sound very distant in the back. So I would definitely like cut back on that, or just check your mix in mono, because I could almost guarantee that mix that lead in mono would be gone, based on what I'm hearing. But I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you for sending that in, bro. Let's get started with Chong's. He's in here, so yeah. I hope I answered your question, by the way. All right. So I mean, the idea is cool. I just feel like it's a little repetitive. and your drums are like not, they're not like what's the word I'm looking for? They're not consistent. There you go. Like sometimes the drum sounds like it's like cutting through, and then there's times where it sounds like your kick is just like barely cutting through, and it's like you're not getting the power from the kick. I think that you need to separate your elements and make space for everything, and then gain staging, because it sounds like everything's like super quiet in general throughout the whole mix. And I also think that your arrangement could use some work. So I would go and take a look at the kind of music, the deep dub stuff that you're trying to make, and I would, you know, look at what the arrangement is for those tracks, and go from there. But other than that, it doesn't sound like a bad tune. The composition is there. It's just doesn't sound like it's very honed in, and there's a focal point. It just sounds like you played like a melody on the first drop, which you like changed up throughout the drop, and then you did it the same with the second drop. So I would just like find a focal point and stick with that. Find something catchy that the listener can like latch onto and go from there. But do you have any questions for me in regards to this track? Yo, Better Business Bureau, what's good, bro? Thank you for tuning into the stream. Jack, what's good, bro? But yeah, anyway, if you don't have any questions, we're going to move on to the next track. Ryan, what's good, man? Thank you for tuning into the stream. Chillin', man. How are you doing? I'm just giving some feedback. All right, bet. Thank you for sending that in. All right, Etudes, are you still in here? So, as I said in a chat, I think that the lead could have a better, like, you could have like a better riff for the drop. It's kind of, the same for both drops, and I don't know, it just kind of gets old really fast, in my opinion. And especially the sound. The sound is like a very, very used trap sound. So personally, that's my, take on it. I like the sub. The sub is nice and dirty, but I just feel like that like trap sound is kind of, been used like on its own. Using it on its own is not. I feel like it's just, it's just been overplayed. But like, layering it with something, maybe changing it up a bit would be cool. Nasin, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the den. But yeah, I mean, overall the composition of the idea is pretty good. I would work on bringing that vocal more present because I cannot understand a word that vocal's saying. And that's that's not good. You should be able to understand what the vocal's saying, especially when it's playing throughout like the entire intro. But other than that, man, well put together. I would just work on that sound design a little bit. Do you have any questions for me? All right. Well, thank you for sending that in, Etudes. I appreciate you. We're going to move on to Hurt No Pain. Are you in here, Hurt No Pain? I'm probably going to skip through this song, seeing as it's 6 minutes long. But if you don't claim that you're here, I cannot go through your song. All right. Well, I don't see him in chat, so we're gonna move on. This next one is from Nasin. It's droplets. I don't know if it's gonna play because I don't have an Audius account, or I do, but I don't use it. All right. So based on what I heard, it sounds like this is not mixed at all. Um, because why I say that is because a lot of your elements sound very dry in the mix, and it just sounds like they're thrown into the mix, like your arpeggios and um that snare is just like uncomfortable every time it hits, and there's no like actual groove in my opinion. So I would work on that, and I would just work on arrangement as well. I would look for tracks that are similar to the ones you make and or that you're trying to make, and break them down and figure out how they're how they're made, and then go from there. But besides that, I mean, it sounds like a bunch of ideas put together and not really in like a song, because there's no real progression. I feel like it's just like the same thing the entire time. Um but Better Business Bureau, let's not say that. John, what's good, bro? Thank you for tuning in. And but yeah, man, thank you for sending that in. Do you have any questions for me? If not, we're gonna move on to the next one. All right. I assume that you have no questions. I'm gonna move on. All right. This next one's Better Business Bureau, II Captain. What up, Troy? All right. This has the same issue as the last song, as there is not a clear idea, and it just sounds like a loop played back. And in terms of mix, it needs a lot of work on the mix. Like that, those pianos need to be a little bit more pushed back in the mix, in my opinion. And that snare is just like uncomfortably boxy, in my opinion. Yeah, I feel like that piano just doesn't kind of fit this, or just the way that it's mixed just doesn't fit. I don't know. But I would definitely keep, like work on that mix down. Sample selection is probably the biggest thing, especially with those drums. You have like a nice kick. The kick sounds fine. I just don't like the snare at all. And actually, no, the kick does have moments where it's not cutting through, and it's having the same issue of it's not consistent. So I would probably look into your kick. Maybe you're EQing too much of your kick out, or there's something going on. It's just causing a lot of low, mid, mud. So Do you have any questions for me, man? Chillin', Troy. How are you? Got it. All right, cool. Well, let's move on to the next one. Young Split, Lords of Cinder. I feel like this is a cool idea. It just doesn't have anything that's really has me like caught into it for a long period of time. It just sounds the same pretty much throughout. So there's not anything that I'm just like, oh wow, that's, you know, like there's not any like breaks, there's no fills and stuff to just, you know, really captivate me. Just having some like simple like breaks where you just like lose all of the sounds, or you just like wash it out, or you do something will keep the listener engaged. But in terms of the mix, I think that the pianos are pretty dry, and needs to be a little bit more wet in the mix. And I think that you need to compress more, because there's a lot of there's just a lot of like there's a lot of dynamics, but it's not like a good like way of having dynamics. It's just like all over the place kind of thing. So besides that, cool idea. I just feel like the groove could be a little less robotic and more natural, if you will, which is something that when you first start off, or anyone that, you know, just starts off, that's just something that you get. And the fact that this is 2 years old, I can't really give you too much feedback besides, you know, that. But yeah, man, thanks for sending that in. Do you have any questions? If not, we're gonna move on to the next one. Aluvis, what's up, man? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the den. Post it in our Discord, and yes, we can check your track out. We are almost at our follower goal for the month of 600. Can we hit 600, guys? Let's see. That'd be dope. But yeah, I hope that helped. Of course, man. Thanks for sending that in. All right. Yeah, man. What an interesting typo. Indeed. All right. While we wait for a new one, I'm going to post this in a couple places. All right, man. Not to be disrespectful, but this is 3 years old, so I'm unfortunately not gonna look at it. Please don't submit tracks to me that are years old and that are released. Not to be disrespectful to anybody, and I mean I understand that you want feedback on your tunes, but if you're gonna send me tunes that you wrote years ago, I'm just gonna ignore them from now on, because I'm not gonna give you feedback on something that's 3 years old. Sorry. I need you guys to send me music that is like recent that you can improve on. If you sending me something that's 3 years old, what are you going to improve on? Like what? Like you're not going to improve upon anything. Sorry, man. Send me something that's more recent so that I can give you actual feedback. What's up, Red? How's it going, man? You're good, bro. It's not a big deal. You can submit another tune. I'm just letting you know. This is just a thing that for everybody that I will not be looking at your music if you're sending me a public track that you released years ago anymore, because that completely kills the whole purpose of feedback, in my opinion. Chilling, man. Just doing some feedback, you know. Doing a little earlier stream than usual. Kamalama, what's good, bro? Thanks for tuning in. How's it going? Bert, what's up? Send it in the Discord. Because you sending me a track that's like a year old, 2 years old, loses the opportunity for someone who is, you know, working on current music to get feedback on their tunes. And I mean, if you want feedback on your tune that's 3 years old, man, I would say become a subscriber, and I will, I'll look at whatever tune it is that you want me to look at. But for this purpose, we're only going to be looking at private tunes from now on. If you send me a public tune, you will not be getting feedback from here on out. Sorry, guys. Okay, cool. Half-Baked Human Tra. What's good? Hurt No Pain. Thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to the den.
Mary, you make me wanna eat you. Every time I see you, it's like the first time I meet you. Fragrance like a flower, subtle and sweet too. Seductive and whatever, it might as well be see-through. Like my genie in a bottle. Bitch can get me rich, look like a magazine model. Before you know it, he have her on a stroll. Fresh and ripe, complexion like Acapulco gold. If I had to guess just right, not a day old. Like a cradle robber, copter off shop, a trailer load. Know the right number, you can get her. And hit it while you with her soul to the highest bidder like...
Yeah, this is some old new shit.
New
that you
shit.
ain't never heard before.
Metaphysics, them new cats stay on the dizix. The kinetic waveform got 'em retarded, walking back will stay full potential against the mental, the rental, the convental, the kingdom, prima Sonia, take Shondo Setti. I'm ready for Freddy, they very confetti, them niggas are petty. They can't worry soft, they crunching up like the prune, the strawberry, jello, they jelly, they live in our belly. Ladies with thongs, moving booties in the hotel-y.
Some new shit.
Sham, do, shampoo, you bitch up, turn around like clam, do, legend like Grandpoo, I'm grand, do, reclining chair in the fan, too, double otter, boat on the water, he sell, I'm a rider, from the border, Africa, bam, jam, planet, rock on like Bada, deep data, leap over Carter, I'm Ford, V8, Granada, I stay hotter, like an enchilada,
Did you write this or rap on it?
Before you hit it while you
Metaphysics, them new cats stay on the dizix. The kinetic waveform got 'em retarded, so they take Shondo Setti. I'm often booties in the hotel-y.
Some new
Moving booties in the hotel-y.
That's out of time.
shit.
Sham, do, shampoo, you bitch up, turn around like clam, do, legend like Grandpoo, I'm grand, do, reclining chair in the fan, too, double otter, boat on
And that like Reese like saw bass that you have going on there in the background, you can't really hear it.
the water, he sell, I'm a rider, from the border, Africa, bam, jam, planet, rock on like Bada, deep,
Right here.
up, ladies with thongs, moving booties in the hotel-y.
Moving booties in the hotel-y.
From the border, Africa, rock, Granada, I stay hotter, like an enchilada.
And then also the mix on this needs a lot of work. You need to compress more. You need to bring out your elements. You need to have the elements, sitting where they need to sit. You need the EQ. The vocal is like there's a lot of air in the vocal, so that needs to be taken care of. Yeah, that's all I got for you, bud. Do you have any questions for me? If not, we're gonna move on to the next one. With the mix. Oh, and I was having a hard time having the vocals on time with the mix. Sweet. Well, I hope that you learned, like, anything I said helped at all. But yeah. Let's move on to the next one. Whoops. All right. Well, as I said in the chat, it's cool little riff you got going on there. As I said in the chat, way too much reverb. The decay on your reverb is just way too crazy. There's way too much decay. So everything just like blends in together and just becomes like one big blob of sound. And when it comes to mixing down, like you'll have the most nightmares in the world trying to mix that down. You should use effects, just use them sparingly. You don't have to throw an effect on there at 100%, you know, wet and just completely destroying your, you know, your bass sound, like the sound that you started off with, you know, the timbre you started off with, unless that's what you're going for. But in this case, I don't think that's what you're going for. So I would definitely work on that. Yo, Joaquin, what's good, bro? What up, dog? Chilling, man. Doing some feedback. And then we got the Zoom after party. You guys are trying to chill with us in the Zoom after party. But yeah, do you have any questions for me, Alluvius? And I apologize for earlier, man, but I'm just getting to the point where it's like I want to give feedback to you guys on music that's going to help you today, not music that you've done years ago. That, you know, your production has to if you're unless you haven't produced for like X amount of time from the last song you released to now, it's like the feedback I give you on that track is pointless. Just for everyone watching. You send me a track that you released like a year ago, or you even released a month ago, and you're asking for feedback on it, it's pointless because you're not going to listen to anything that I say because the track's already released. It's good for me to give you feedback on your demos and stuff that you're working on to help you improve then and there. That will help you improve in the long run through everything. But yeah, man, thanks for sending that in. Let's see if we got anything else. I believe Hurt No Pain, are you still in here? The track I sent still working on it, just exported for you. Bet. Let me know when you send it over. We'll check it out. I assume Hurt. No, yeah, I have you right here. All right. Probably, like I said, I'm gonna skip through this. All right. I pretty much got the gist of it from what I listened to there. And what I'm about to say is constructive, and it is not to hurt your feelings in any way, but I feel like you just have a bunch of sounds in here and there's no like actual idea. It's just like a lot of different sounds thrown together trying to make a groove, but it sounds like you're doing too much. And I would cut back on some of the stuff. I would make it like that, like your little like bass line. Can't even hear it. There's a lot of like rumble and like mud in the low mids. Your kick is not like strong enough in my opinion. It needs to be like thumpier. It needs more from it. Your percussion hits are just too much. There's too much going on throughout the entire track. There's not really a progression. It's just like there and then constant flow of that. There's no like build ups and there's no like tension drops. There's no change of energy. It's just constantly because of all those percussive hits. So I would work on that. I'd work on gain staging so that you can have everything, you know, where it needs to be, compressing properly. It doesn't seem like you're compressing because like I said, once you gain stage, you'll be able to tell what you need to compress right then and there, and everything just becomes much easier. But do you have any questions for me regarding this? And once again, everything I'm saying is constructive, and I hope you don't take any offense to it. I'm just trying to help you improve. You can take everything I said and throw it out the window if you don't believe in what I'm saying. All right, cool. Well, thank you for sending that in. We currently don't have any new people in the queue at the moment. So I'm going to share this in a couple places and we'll wait for that to happen. Soul of Dynasty said, I did send. Where did you send it? Because I don't see it. I responded to your email actually. I need a SoundCloud or a clip link. Kamalama, for right now, no, but if we have a long period of time where people don't send stuff in, sure, but I'm changing up my rules on feedback now just because I'm slowly limiting my time for giving feedback because it is taking away a lot of time from making music, and sometimes these streams go on for 4 or 5 hours and I give feedback and my ears are just shot after that. So I'm going to start limiting the amount of time on feedback, and it's also a good push towards if you would like to be a subscriber and support the channel, then you get feedback whenever. But yeah. Let me post this in a couple groups. What group? What group? I need to find this group. Well, while we wait, I'm going to share with you guys something from the Zoom after party. From last night's Zoom after party. If I can find it. There it is. All right, cool. Not sure if Percy's is still in here, but hey, Kamalama, thank you for the subscription, bro. I appreciate it. I wasn't like saying like you need to subscribe, but I really appreciate the subscription. I'm getting to the point where it's like, I need to have a little bit more rule set for this feedback so that everyone gets an equal opportunity to get their tracks looked at, and I give them, you know, the best feedback I can give them without tiring myself out. But I appreciate that, man. You can send your track in whenever. But before you do that, I do want to show you guys the Zoom after party. So what we do in the Zoom after party. It's a fun time.
Hello, I like to play a game.
Yo.
I want to play a game of Scratch Jonomatic's nose.
Wait a minute, hold up. Now you can't just sit there and say you want to scratch my nose because, yeah.
It's okay. I noticed already did that.
Oh my.
All right. And then we got that one.
Thank you. All right, let's try this again. All right, 3, 2, 1, action. What's up?
Hi, I'm Johnny Medic.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, action. Yo, what is going on, Zoom Crib?
You're not close enough. Get closer. Cut. Get closer. Right there. Right there. Right there.
We might make this into like a meme video.
All right,
Yep.
here we go. Here we go. All right, 3, 2, 1, action. Yo, Zoom Cribs, how we doing? My name is John O'Matic, and you are locked in to Sloth Zoom After Party, where anything will happen. Anything goes down. And as you know, what's going down right now, I'm a meme. So you could be a meme too. So if you want to be a meme and you want to hang out with the coolest producers ever, then guess what? Join the Sloth After Party. Sloth Zoom After Party. after every tour.
Come on, bro, you fucked it. Anyway, that's some of the shenanigans we get into on Zoom. If you guys want to join us, after every stream we do a Zoom after party, and we will have one after this one. But anyway, yeah, Kamalama, send your track into the subscriber feedback anytime, and I will take a look at it.
Mary, you make me wanna eat you. Every time I see you, it's like the first time I meet you. Fragrance like a flower, subtle.
There's a lot of like hisses in your chord, and it sounds out of key.
And sweet too, seductive and whatever, it might as well be see-through. Like my genie in a bottle. Bitch can get me rich, look like a magazine model. Before you
You also need to de-ess your vocal. That
and sweet too, seductive and whatever, it might as well be see-through. Like my genie in a bottle. Bitch can get me
yeah, that you need to get rid of that.
rich, look like a magazine model. Before you know it, he have her on a stroll. Fresh and ripe, complexion like Acapulco gold. If I had to guess just right, not a day old. Like a cradle robber, copter off shop, a trailer load. Know the right number, you could get her. And hit it while you with a soul to the highest bidder like.
Yeah, this is some old new shit. That you ain't never heard.
Metaphysics, the new cats stay on the physics. The kinetic waveform got a retarded. Welcome back, will stay full potential against the mental, the rental, the convental, the kingdom, prima Sonia, take Shondo Setti. I'm ready for Freddy, they very confetti, them niggas are petty. They can't worry soft, they crunching up like the prune and strawberry. Jello, they live in our belly. Ladies with thongs, moving booties in the hotel.
Some new shit.
Sham, do, sham, cool, you bitch up, turn around like clam, do, legend like Graham, ooh, I'm grand, dude, reclining chair, the van, two, double otter, boat on the water, he sell, I'm a rider, from Nevada, Africa, bam, jam, planet, rock on like Bada, he data, leap over Carter, I'm Ford, Gate, Renata, I stay high, like an
Okay. So your like little like chord stabs are like dun, 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 dun. Those are like super hot in the mix. They need to be brought down. Your vocal gets like washed out every time that hits, and every time you try to hit your chords or your like melody or whatever. And you need to EQ that, and you need to like work on making sure that it's like clear. Probably maybe compressing it will bring it up, and like, you know, because right now it's just like it's not like a zzz. Yo, Cresco and Simple, thank you guys for the follows. Welcome to the den. What is up?